Hi folks, welcome to Ditto Insurance. I'm your host Shashank, and today I'm being joined by Ajay, who has advised over 4,000 clients. He's a senior program manager here at Ditto. Welcome Ajay.
Hi Shashank. It's great to be back.
A small note actually, we've actually crossed 100 videos on our Ditto official YouTube channel, and thanks for being with us for all this while. So, to mark this special milestone, we recently did a podcast with Rahul Jain, a financial content creator. I'm sure you've heard of him, you've seen his videos. And there was one question that I asked him: how much medical corpus should one person set aside apart from his insurance? So he said, it depends on everyone how much they want to put out, but it's important to have an insurance in the first place. That got me thinking, let's say there's a situation where you do have an insurance, say the coverage is 10 lakhs, but suddenly you're slapped with a bill of 25 lakhs because of some illness. Now you need to arrange the extra 15 lakhs. Now, if this happens once, it's still an emotional burden plus a financial burden. But what if this happens again? So how can one be prepared for this? So I thought the two solutions, one could be to enhance your coverage in some way or the other, or to have another health insurance policy. So in your experience as an advisor, what do you think would be the wise bet to do in such a situation?
That's a great question, right? Because firstly, people just think about insurance, they get a policy, things are fine. But there are a lot of finer points like, is my sum insured enough? Okay, so ideally the sum insured that an advisor recommends to you should be sufficient. Okay, but some people have this practice, which we also do recommend in situations, of getting a super top-up or a top-up, right? So, we'll just use the word top-up. We'll get into the super top-up and those discussions later. Okay, so a top-up is like an enhancement on top of your base sum insured, right? So, for example, the other day I had a client who had a good sum insured, which was around, say, 15 lakhs, right? And they wanted something on top of that because, medical inflation is at 14%, and though the plans have things like restoration and other benefits as such, they just wanted a pretty high cover, okay? And that's when the concept of top-up comes in, right? Because one very good thing about that is that it costs very less, right? So, much lesser than what a base policy would cost. But at the same time, it doesn't offer the features that a normal base insurance policy would offer, like say your bonuses or your restoration benefits, and sometimes the pre and post hospitalization expenses, though those particular durations are way lesser. Sometimes there are restrictions on the room, right? But overall, it is still a good addition for the price that it is offering, right?
Okay.
Because for like an additional, say, 90 lakhs or an additional 1 crore or, or whatever you're taking on top, it costs, relatively very less.
Okay. So in what scene would a top-up make sense, and how does this top-up actually work? Can you give me an example with a few numbers?
Like I said, see, though a top-up is an add-on on top of your health insurance, it is also a separate top-up health insurance policy altogether. It is still a policy, a separate thing that needs to be taken on top of this. Right? It doesn't just come with add-ons where in your existing policy you can just add it on like an add-on. Right? So then it's like a two-policy thing. Okay, like I said, the premiums are quite less, but you have something called as a deductible. Okay, that's where the catch is, right? So usually the deductibles are around 5 lakhs or 10 lakhs, or some people even opt for 3 lakhs or 2 lakhs or something lesser than that. And accordingly, the premiums vary based on the deductible that are opted.
I remember deductible. I was speaking to Sushant and we made a whole video on that. So every time, if I'm getting this right, every time you need to pay a certain amount of money to get your claim passed. Is that right?
So let me explain to you what deductibles are. Okay. So let's say there is a top-up plan that somebody has, which is around 90 lakhs, and it has a 10 lakh deductible, right? Okay. So the first initial 10 lakhs, okay, either can be like covered by the insurance policy or say from the person's pocket. So let me give you an illustration as in like an example.
Okay.
Right? So say with this same policy, okay, somebody goes, okay, so this person say gets a claim of around 15 lakhs, right? They already have a base policy of around 10 lakhs and now they have a super top up with this 10 lakh deductible and a 90 lakh sum insured, right? Is this clear?
Correct. Yeah.
Right. So now if the person needs to avail the insurance, the sensible thing and what he would do is first the 10 lakhs he would use is base policy, right? And beyond that, the remaining 5 lakhs is available, right? The top up will get activated and that would, cover the additional 5 lakhs that is, being incurred by him.
Understood. Okay.
Right. And another thing is, if he does not have an insurance policy, right now I explained where he had 10 lakhs. If he did not have an insurance policy and he had only a top-up policy, top-up health insurance policy, right? So then he'd have to pay the 10 lakhs from his own pocket, right? And only then the top-up would kick in and the remaining 5 lakhs would be taken care of it, right? So this would, be another problem. So always need to have a good base policy so that the initial amount is covered, right? Another big problem is that what if there is another claim in the same year, right? So every time the person has to, cover the deductible each time.
Every single time?
Yeah. So if a base plan does not have things like restoration or, you just have a very less sum insured in your base policy, every time the person has to keep paying the deductible or look for ways to take care of the deductible, be it in corporate insurance policy or your base policy, right? And post that only the top up kicks in, right? So this becomes a problem when you come to the concept of top ups.
Oh, this is actually leading them on a path of financial destruction because
Correct.
Let's say, God forbid, something happens. Every year you need to not just be emotionally drained, but also financially. Isn't there any solution to a top up? Isn't there a better alternative?
That's what, if you remember in the beginning of the video, I brought in the concept of super top ups.
Exactly.
Right. So since people felt these top ups are, causing a lot of issues because though they're offering a higher cover, this deductible becomes a big problem, right? So that's why companies introduce these super top-ups, okay? And a lot of companies are offering these super top-ups, right? So there's nothing to worry there,
okay?
Right? So
All right.
Have a sigh of relief, right?
Great,
so,
okay.
Yeah, so I'll tell you how it works, right? So in a super top-up, okay, let's take the same example, okay? So the person is having the 10 lakh kind of a deductible, okay? 90 lakh super top-up now, not a top-up. Right. So, and here, say the person is having a base insurance policy, medical expense, let's take 15 lakhs only for, the sake of ease, right? So now the 10 lakh is covered. Similar to the previous policy, the first step happens, right? So here again, the deductible is taken care of by the base policy and the remaining 5 lakhs is taken care of. And if they don't have a policy, they do it with their own money. But the positive thing is it has to be done only once a year. Say there are 3-4 claims during the year, I don't have to keep paying the deductible or look for ways to pay the deductible again and again, either with a base policy or a corporate plan or, my dad's savings.
Okay.
Right? So the deductible only has to be paid once, whereas on a top up, it has to be paid multiple number of times depending on the number of hospitalizations that have taken place.
Well, super top-ups are really there to help you from your financial burdens. Now, are there any cons to these top-ups and super top-ups? And while you're doing that, can you give me a quick pros and cons of having a top-up and a super top-up?
Absolutely. Right. So clearly from my example only, you get to know that super top-ups are good. Right. So the top-up concept is actually now become redundant. No one uses top-ups anymore because of this caveat of deductible, right? So it's just going to be super top-ups. Good number of companies offer it, right? And when I'm coming to the cons, right? So, okay, so one thing I can think of is in the beginning of the video, I did mention that they have some kind of restrictions on certain other features, right? So you're not going to have like additional bonuses, loyalty bonuses, or things like health checkups. This is especially for people who are only taking a top-up or a super top-up, like say they have a corporate plan and they're only depending on the super top-up for any additional coverage other than their employer, right? So these kind of problems will be there where this pre and post hospitalization, those kind of things might not be there.
So loss of benefits as well.
Yeah. And again, when people get, for senior citizens, right? For senior citizens, usually getting a super top-up is very difficult because the insurer is going to dig in extra deep because, they're giving like a 90 lakh cover for somebody who is, in their 60s or having multiple pre-existing conditions. So, it gets little difficult to get a super top-up for, senior citizens, right? And like I said, the things like the room rent restrictions are there. They might have some limitations, cappings on certain diseases, right? So very rarely these things also pop up, right? So these are some things. Very few people say that, that why should I have two policies? It gets difficult to manage, which is again not a big con, right? But yeah, major things are that your base policy, whatever the features are there, right? So those kind of features you're not probably going to get in a super top, because the base policy is also now a lot of health insurance plans give very good bonuses, loyalty bonuses, which increase the sum insured to a big extent.
Understood. When you read up a policy, or when you even go through websites of these insurance companies, you rarely understand that a top up is another policy or a super top up is another policy. So that is where a trusted insurance advisor like Ditto comes in. So folks, let me tell you something about Ditto if you are new here. We are an insurance advisory platform. We are backed by Zerodha and have a stellar rating of 4.9 over 5. We believe in spam-free and quality advices with the likes of Ajay, who give out proper advices to you in case if you're searching for a policy or if you want to understand the different benefits, features, and add-ons. Well, we're not here to just sell you a policy, but also to make you understand how you can make your insurance work for you. So if you're in the market to purchase a policy for yourself or your loved ones, then please don't hesitate to book a free of cost call with the link in the description with the best advisors in town. Well, on that note, let me also tell you that Ditto is hiring insurance advisors. So if you're someone who wants a remote work, who wants a fast career growth with no sales target and wants to do real good for the society, then you should really check out the link in the description where you can apply and work with Ditto. Now, back to the video, Ajay. Now, you said that there are a lot of policies that provide super top-ups. Can you name a couple of good policies, comprehensive ones, that give this feature of super top-ups?
Absolutely. So the first one is the Altibula Super Health Plus, right? It's a very good plan. Okay, so they offer a lot of deductibles. You have 5 lakh, 10 lakh, 15 lakhs, and also sum insured as high as 90 lakhs, 90 to 95 lakhs also they do offer, right? Okay. So this is one of the most comprehensive, super top-ups I've seen in the market right now. Drawbacks is, again, compared to other super top-ups, they're not like any big drawbacks. Premiums are also quite reasonable. Okay, and just that Altibula might not have such a big track record, compared to the giants like HDFC, Ergo, or ICICI. But it's a good plan, to be honest.
Great.
Would be my. So the next policy would be HDFC Ergo's Medisure. Okay, so this policy is also a very good option, right? Again, because of the company metrics, I would bring this up of HDFC Ergo. But coming to the sum insured offer, they offer around max up to 20 lakhs only, right? So you have options of 10, 15 lakhs. So people who just want to just slightly increase their sum insured a bit, they have a very comprehensive plan and just want this to just give that additional bump, they probably go for this, right? The plan is quite comprehensive, but a couple of small drawbacks you can see are they don't cover this domiciliary expenses, which is for if there is any hospitalization that is to be done at home, right, where there is no lack of beds in the hospital. Those things are not covered. And if you see, they do have like slight co-payments if someone is getting beyond the age of 81, I guess, right? So slight drawbacks are there. But it seems to be a decent plan for people who just want to slightly increase their cover. So the next one would be the Care Enhance. Okay, so they have two variants, which is Care Enhance 1 and 2. Okay, if you see the differences is that just in terms of the deductibles. So in Care Enhance 1, the deductibles are in multiples of 1. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4 lakhs. It's like that. I get to choose like that. So there's some customizations there. And the max amount I can go for is up to 30 lakhs.
Okay.
Right? But be it the Care Enhance 2, that is the second variant. So that is the deductibles are in multiples of 5. And I get to take the sum insured up to 55 lakhs.
Okay.
Right. So depending on my budget and what suits me and the base policy that I have, I can choose which one to go for.
Sorry.
Right.
Yeah.
When it comes to the drawbacks, this one also doesn't cover these domiciliary expenses I spoke about, and this Ayush coverage also is not, quite comprehensive there. Right.
Okay.
So another thing is that the pre-existing waiting period is slightly higher. It has a 4-year waiting period, okay, which is higher compared to the likes of, say, the HDFC's Medisure, which is usually around 3. Okay, so that is slightly high. However, they don't impose things like additional loading charges, which in companies like in HDFC, they usually do. So these are some things you need to keep in mind. The last one in my list would be the Niyabupa's health recharge. So this is quite a comprehensive plan. Okay, but still, why it is last is that they do have a room rent restriction, right? So only a single private room is something that they offer, right? And other than that, things like deductibles, there is a wide range, right? From 3 lakhs to 10 lakhs, they offer deductibles, and a good sum insured cover, like, the range is also good, right? So from 7.5 lakhs to 95 lakhs, they offer, right? So it is a very customizable plan, and it covers also Ayush and domiciliary, right? So those things are also ticked. Niyabupa does, impose additional loading charges if, say, a person's BMI is little on the higher end, or say they have pre-existing conditions. So that would still apply. But other than that, I see it is, one of the best super top-ups available.
Understood. All right, Ajay. That's quite a comprehensive list. Now, do you have any parting thoughts?
Yeah. So just a final verdict is that always have a comprehensive, good base health insurance policy. Right, that cannot be replaced. Okay, having just a standalone super top-up policy would not be sufficient, considering the drawbacks and a couple of lack of features here and there. Right, so having a good base sum insured is something that cannot be replaced, and the plans also nowadays offer like 5x coverages and 7x coverages, which we have covered in other videos. Right, so right now, even super top-ups are just like, something as an additional safety, right? It should not be your only plan for taking a health insurance.
Right, makes sense, Ajay. Folks, there you heard it from Ajay himself. Thank you, Ajay, for joining us and giving us such an insightful discussion on this. Yeah. Now, folks, this brings us to the end of the video. If you like the video, please drop a like, subscribe if you haven't already. And if you have any queries, then please drop them in the comments below. We will answer them together. And folks, we will see you in the next one. Until then, happy insurance hunting.